Hey everyone. Hello, hello. It's JT. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for another office hours here on the Work It Daily channel. We are the channel that helps you turn frustration into career success. And we do that by removing the roadblocks so you can move your career forward. Maybe you're in job search, you are changing careers, you are dealing with issues at work, whatever it is that's making you not feel that you are in the best place possible for your career. We are the channel that helps you solve that, and the company that helps you solve that as well. So if you don't know who we are and what we're about, you'll learn more about that today too. But for those of you that are brand new to office hours, what this is a weekly show where I, the career coach, I'm going to answer your questions live and in real time. And we have an amazing moderator on the channel. My coworker, my partner in crime, Lindsay, is here to support us. I'm going to give you a couple of ground rules. Remember, if you have a question, put the word question in all caps, and then your question. And that way I'm able to see it, because when I'm not looking at you in the camera, I'm actually looking at this cool little chat feature here on YouTube that helps me answer your questions. And of course, just remember, there are no silly questions. You know, if you are struggling, whatever it is, big or small, we've got to really get inside your head and fix that. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. I guarantee you, if you have a question, somebody else that's watching this probably is going, yeah, I want to know the answer to that too. And of course, if I don't know the answer, which hey, definitely happens, we will go back to the drawing board, we'll do the research, and we'll try to bring it to you the next time we're live. So before I get started, one more thing I want to say is that if you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel, share, tell your friends, and hit the little notification bell. That way you'll know instantly. It'll send you a notification when we go live, as well as when we post our new content, which we do several times a week. And, I'm just going to get on my soapbox for a second and say, Americans spend an average of over an hour a day on social media, Facebook specifically, and there's all this stuff related to depression and that social media isn't making us feel very good. So I'm going to challenge you to sign up for our site, because I think if you were to spend 2 minutes a day, a few times a week, watching videos to educate you on your career, you're going to get smarter, you're going to get more inspired, you're going to certainly feel better, not worse. And I think that's time on social media well spent. So just going to, give us a plug and say, join us here and let's make your life better. Okay. So something interesting happened this week, and I definitely want to share it with all of you. We have posted a video on age discrimination, and then I posted something called Coaching Moment, where I was addressing some of the comments we've been getting from people about age discrimination. And, age discrimination is illegal. It focuses on people who are seasoned. So when we talk about age, we're not talking about young people. They unfortunately can be discriminated against legally and passed over for a job. But more seasoned individuals, older individuals, let's call it, there are rules in place where companies can get in trouble if they blatantly discriminate based on age, if they blatantly choose somebody because they're younger versus older. This is a protected class, just like other protected classes, right? And so people of a different race, disabilities, etc. And what I wanted to focus on this week is that you can be a whistleblower, and this is what the Coaching Moment was about. You absolutely can be the whistleblower on a company, call them out and say, hey, you're age discriminating against, maybe file a complaint. You can do that. The reality is, and I'm the coach, so I'm going to tell you, having coached thousands of people, been in HR and recruiting, is that the moment you do that, you're definitely not going to get a job with that company. Those people are going to tell other people that you are a whistleblower. I mean, this is just reality, and that you're whistleblowing on this company. Now, is that right? That's not what I'm here to discuss. Can I change that? I cannot. So my goal as a coach is to talk about alternative methods. And I should have pulled this clip for you, but when I think about alternative methods and I think about what I was trying to convey this week to all of you out there, I thought of this very funny clip in a movie, Night at the Museum. Has anybody ever seen that movie? Maybe, maybe not. There's this scene where the head night watchman is arguing with a monkey. And the monkey keeps hitting him in the face, and he keeps hitting him back, and they're getting into this fight. And Robin Williams is in this movie, and he steps in and he says, "Who's more evolved? Who's more evolved?" And he looks at the night watchman and says, "You're more evolved than the monkey. You need to be the bigger person here." And he goes on to figure out a way to kind of outsmart the monkey. So I'm going to tell you that you're more evolved. If you're a seasoned professional, you can outsmart the monkey. You can outsmart the company that maybe knowingly or unknowingly is age discriminating against. And I see it happen all the time. The challenge is it's going to take work. You're going to have to network. You're going to have to connect with people at that company. You're going to have to get to know them. You're going to have to put the idea of getting the job on the shelf for a moment. and talk more about, I want to get to know this company. There's obviously a reason I'm drawn to them and I want to work for them. So we share that in common, regardless of how old the person is that I meet there. And I want to chat with as many people as I possibly can at that company and hear, why did they join the company? And what do they love about the company? And why do they feel connected to the mission of the company? And in listening and asking those questions and getting to know them, I'm going to earn the opportunity to share why I'm into the company, why I love what they do, why I think that they're a great organization and the product and service they sell is amazing. And all of a sudden, I'm going to tell you, age doesn't factor into the equation anymore. And I'm not just saying this anecdotally. I'm saying this because this is what we do every single day inside Work It Daily. And I hope our Slack channel was down. Our private Slack channel for our members was down this morning. But I was going to ask all of my seasoned professionals who have been in the program to get in here and start to talk about this, because they are seeing that when they take this approach, they can get past those gatekeepers. I wrote an article about this on Inc. Somebody who was 50 years old, he decided that he was going to get involved in skydiving as a way to kind of continue to feel young and deal with change and, put himself outside his comfort zone. And he ended up befriending a whole bunch of people in their 30s, which helped him become a better worker. I have another example of a gentleman who lost his job at 52, and he decided to take a technical course. He'd always been a project manager, but he wanted to understand this one type of technology better. So he took this 2-month course, and everybody in there, the average age was like 20-something years old. And as he did this course and they collaborated and they did exercises together, they all got to know him. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, he got a phone call. And it was from a company where several of these people that were in the course worked, where they said, there's this guy in our class. He's super smart. He's a project manager. He has all this experience. He's the kind of project manager we'd want to work with. And boom, he got the job. So I'm telling you this works, but it takes work. It takes being, in a sense, the bigger person, recognizing you're smarter. You can outsmart the monkey, and you can absolutely do this. Now, I'm not saying you can't make the decision. It's not fair, JT. I want to call them out. Again, totally your call, your choice. But I'm here as a career coach to help you get hired. I'm here to help you remove the roadblocks. And assuming that it's age discrimination and just getting angry and upset about it, it's not doing you any good at all. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your mind. It's not getting you where you need to be. It is all about the right attitude and trying different approaches. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. I encourage you to go check out the videos, check out the comments. We got kind of into a big dialogue about this with some folks who just, really want to whistleblow. And I get it. I understand the knee-jerk reaction to it. But, there's just so much discrimination in hiring that's legal and not legal. Because at the end of the day, a company has multiple candidates to choose from. They're not all apples to apples, and they pick one. And sometimes I think that we want to find a reason to say it's their fault, when in reality, it's just the law of supply and demand. And we all know what that law is, which is there's multiple people applying for that one job, and there's only one thing, only one job slot. And so when we don't get it, we want to rationalize because it hurts. Of course it hurts. Being rejected, being passed over hurts. But that company didn't say, no, not ever. They didn't blatantly look at you and say, never in a million years. They said, no, not today. We want someone else. And it's the people that understand that and embrace that and say, I'm more evolved. I can get better at this job search thing. I can build relationships. Even though they said, no, not today, I'm going to get to a point where they say yes. Those are the mentalities that get us hired. And that's what we're about at Work It Daily. And it's not as hard, as difficult as you think. Once you get in this zone and you do this, it really does work. But you got to start with the right mindset. You got to believe. And you got to work it daily. All right. So I'm certainly going to answer more questions about that, but I really wanted to talk about that today. And now I'm going to take all of your questions, and hopefully there's a lot of them. So let me scroll up here. Give me a second to find them, folks. So glad to have you all here. Just going to give some shout outs. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Randall. Great to have you here. Hey, Marvalu. Awesome to have you here. Okay. So the first question is from Kimberly. I fully qualify for an internship, but I will be going to grad school during part of the time frame that they want me. How honest should I be in the job interview about this? Awesome question. Okay. You need to be honest, but it's not the first thing that you're going to blurt out. So Kimberly, what you want to think about when you're trying to land a job or an internship, any kind of role, is that you're a service provider and you've got to get this employer to trust and respect you enough that they say you're the one that they want for the job. So think about it. If this is the first time I'm meeting you, it's the first interview for the internship, and you're blurting out, well, and by the way, I can't be available during these dates. Trust and respect out the window. Boom, they're not going to hire you. So you don't bring it up right away. Right now you want to focus on, how I can deliver value, why I admire what the company does, why I respect the product and the service that you provide, how I identify with it. How do I know that what you do is absolutely awesome and why am I passionate about it? That's what you need to sell first. Now, once you start to do that and they identify you as a potential match, they're going to throw out some buy signals. Employers throw out buy signals. Now, buy signals are some questions around if you were to come on board. So they're going to ask things like, are you available for the entire time of the internship? Things like that are going to start to come up. And that's when you're going to say, this is so hard for me. The reality is I have to do some schoolwork in this one particular time frame, but I didn't want to miss out on the chance to meet you and interview with you and see if there was a way that that could be worked into this. And if not, at the very least, I wanted to get to know you and show you my passion and how much I wanted an internship here in the event maybe I could intern at another time or even, earn a position here down the line. That's my hiccup. Let me tell you how hard this is for me, but I really want this. Do you see how you can share that? By now they know you, they're interested in you, and you're really conveying with enthusiasm how hard this is for you and how much you hate the fact that this is happening. And, you just wanted a chance to get to know them so they could get to know you and start this relationship. So maybe you can intern there in the future or work there in the future, or maybe they can work around it and you can do whatever it takes to work around it so you can land the internship. That's the right time to discuss that because you've earned some credibility. You've earned the opportunity not to negotiate, but to think, how are we going to partner? Is there something we can do here? And that doesn't happen right out of the gate. So my advice to you, Kimberly, if you haven't figured it out already, is you got to wait. You got to find that right opportunity and you'll see those buy signals. And that's the time to convey that. Okay. All right. Great question. All righty. Let's see here. So more shout outs. Hey, I hope I say this right. Sharafa. Great to have you here. Heather says, how can I show a prospective employer that I'm ready for a leadership role, senior level contributor to manager? Oh gosh, I love this question. All right. So you're ready to take on a leadership role. And the first thing that's going through their mind is, why do you think so? What can you list out for me quantifiably that says you're ready for a leadership role? So what you have to do first, Heather, is find out what defines a successful leader at your organization. So I would advise you to go pick 2 at the least, maybe 3 leaders that you truly admire in the company and ask them for coffee or lunch or a meeting. And you want to sit down with them and say, you are one of the top 3 people in the company that I admire most for their leadership here. So I want to hear from you firsthand. What does it take to be a great leader here? Can you tell me what that is? What does that look like? Then your follow-up question to them is, can you tell me what experiences you've had that gave you those leadership qualities? What did you need to achieve professionally in order to have those qualities? What they're building for you is the roadmap of what you need. You're building out a checklist. And you do this with 2 or 3 people in the company. You look at the data, you find the points of commonality, then you go back to them and you say, all right, based on what you shared with me in our meeting and talking to a few other, exceptional leaders here, it looks like I would need these things to become a leader here. And here's what I believe I have so far that matches with that. So you almost create like a table. Here are all the leadership qualities that I've been told this company looks for. Here's what I have that I think matches to that. Would you tell me if you agree, if I'm missing anything? And if I am missing anything, what would you suggest I do to close that gap? And guess what? They're going to tell you. If somebody comes to me and asks that question, I'm going to tell you. And what you're going to have is either they're going to go, no, you are totally ready. Or, oh, you need a couple more things here. But the beautiful part about this is that you're going to have done all this homework. So now imagine what's going to happen when you're finally ready or almost ready. You're going to go to management and you're going to say, I really want a leadership role here. So here's what I did. I reached out to the leaders I most admire in the company. I asked them how they got there and what they think it takes. I built a checklist and I matched up my own skills to it. I got feedback from them. They said, I'm a match here, need more here. So I'm presenting this to you now because I would like to work with you to close the gap and get what I need in order to take on that leadership role. Can we work out a strategy together? How nice is that? You've basically done all the homework. Your manager just goes, okay, let's figure this out. Now, one of 2 things is going to happen. One, they're going to go, yes, absolutely, let's figure this out for you. Or 2, they're going to start to really push back. And they're going to say, no, I don't think this is really right. Or, this isn't a good fit. That is a warning signal that somebody doesn't see you as leadership potential. So if they start throwing down roadblocks after you've done that homework, you know something's up, and you're going to want to try to explore that and say, well, what is it going to take for me to get there? And if you aren't getting clear-cut answers, then my advice to you is to think about where you might go elsewhere in order to make that happen. Because this does happen, folks. Sometimes we've defined ourselves in a role, a company's made up their mind, they don't see us in a leadership role, and it's never going to happen. So by doing this homework, presenting it, and seeing what they think about it, you're going to know if you fall in that category or not. And that's going to help you either move up there and get that role you want, or get clear that it's time for you to find a place where you can go do that. Now, the other nice thing about having done this homework is when you go out and you start looking for leadership roles, you can say, hey, these are the qualities based on leaders that I've spoken to that I admire. This is what they say you need in a leader, and these are the things that I had. So as you go out and you interview, it's going to be even easier for you. So again, this homework, this exercise is what's going to set you up for success, whether either internally in your current company or as you move to a new company to make that happen for yourself. Okay? Great questions. Good ones coming today. Howdy, D Walker. Shout out to D Walker. Question is, does the ATS exclude my resume because of being out of work for over a year? It does not. It does not exclude you because you've been out of work over a year. The way ATS systems work is they exclude you if you leave fields blank, which a lot of people don't realize. People have said to me, but they said it wasn't a required field. You fill in every blank in an ATS, folks. Always, every time. Because many of the ATS systems are designed to either completely eliminate you or say you only filled it out 80 or 70%, so they push you down the list. The second thing is that they will disqualify you if they say things like must have these skill sets, must have this many years of experience, this or that. So it's more likely you're being tossed because you didn't fill things in or you didn't fit the qualities that they put in there. That being said, please understand less than 3% of people that apply online ever get a phone call, even if they fill out everything correctly. Less than 3%. ATS does not work. Companies do it so that they've got your stuff. It doesn't work. In our program, Work It Daily, our members learn how to go around the ATS because it doesn't work. And I guarantee if some of them are here today, they'll tell you. I have people all the time apply on the ATS, get rejected. Then we show them how to go around and share their disruptive cover letter and their resume with a recruiter or hiring manager, and they get an interview. So you need to know that that's the bigger problem here. I will also be honest, when you've been out of work over 6 months, it does start to become a red flag. So what you need is a really strong proactive strategy for getting back to work. We had a guy just this week inside of Work Daily. He was out of work for 16 months. 16 months. A little after the year mark, he came and he found us. And he joined our program and figured out that essentially for the whole first year of being unemployed, he wasn't even really looking for work. He thought he was, like most people out there. They think that sitting there applying all day long, they're looking for work and they're being rejected, so there must be something wrong with them. Absolutely couldn't be further from the truth. Not true at all. The majority of job seekers out there aren't really even job seeking. They're throwing their stuff into a black hole and they're not getting anything back and they're feeling more and more depressed every day. Lo and behold, he builds a proactive approach. Best story ever. He literally got offered such a good salary. We had prepared him to negotiate. We teach everyone to negotiate. He was prepared to go in and negotiate for more money. They gave him so much money. They gave him the top end of what he wanted. He's like, I couldn't even negotiate. I've been out of work for 16 months and they gave me higher than I was even thinking I'd get. So this is what I mean about the majority of job seekers out there do not know how to look for work the right way. They don't have the right strategy. They're not using the right tools. They're not presenting themselves the right way on social media. And this is what's creating an epic fail for most people. And that's why that's the bigger problem. There's nothing wrong with you. Let me stress that to anybody out there that's between jobs. We don't say unemployed. You're between jobs. There's nothing wrong with you. You are a professional. You didn't lose all your skills and abilities the day you lost that job. But the more you know how to become a really good proactive job seeker, the faster you get the job that you want. Okay? All right. Let's see. Hey, Matt McGuire. Matt McGuire says, I have an interview next week. Nice, Matt. And it says, I was wondering how conservative I should be with my level of dress. Okay, so the first thing I would do is stalk the company on social media. Matt, because all companies have different types of attires. And usually if this company's pretty established, you go to their Glassdoor page, their LinkedIn page, if they've got Twitter, if they've got Facebook, if they've got Instagram, check them out and see what they're posting about their employees. It's called employment brand. And you'll see like how people are dressed. Now, based on what you see, you dress one level more conservatively. So if this is like everyone's in sweatpants and shorts, you're going in khakis and a collared shirt. If everyone's in like khakis or jeans and a shirt, you're going in dress pants and a jacket. And if people are in dress pants and like the rolled up sleeves, you're going in a full on suit. So you go up a level with everything. And I'll tell you, you can never go wrong with overdressing. Even if you look stupid, you get there and you're like, I'm in a suit, everyone else is casual. Dressing higher is a sign of respect. I was so excited about this job opportunity. I got dressed up in my stuffy clothing. Now, the one thing I will tell you folks is please remember this. Everyone thinks they have taste and a sense of humor. So when I say getting dressed up, and it does not mean getting crazy. When you decide to pull out the purple nail polish and some crazy outfit with crazy, crazy colors, you're taking the emphasis off you and your words and your experience, and you're putting it all in your outfit. So when I say dress, professionally and out of respect, I'm talking dress in a way that really kind of puts the focus on you and what you're saying as a professional, not on your clothes. All right. Just a little advice there as well. But always dress better than what their norm would be out of a sign of respect. Okay. Good luck with that. Let's see. Hi, Carolyn. Carolyn says, do you have any prompts or ideas about how to brainstorm the answer? What was your greatest accomplishment interview question? This is one of the toughest ones to answer. Thank you. Yeah. So Carolyn, we teach inside Work It Daily. I'm flat out going to tell you all, shameless, I am biased, but we have the best interview prep course ever. I've had people tell me it's literally like stealing the opponent's playbook. And in it, we have 21 behavioral questions. This is one of them that you will get asked, and we give you an entire system of how to answer them. We give you the answers. There's literally a video recording where we tell you what you should say and why you should say it. In this one case, you're talking about an accomplishment that you can demonstrate quantifiable results. So companies want to hear how you save or make them enough money to justify the cost of hiring you. Your job is to save or make a company money in some way that's worth it, that they should spend money on you being there. So it's up to you to identify an accomplishment that aligns with the kind of work that you'd be doing for that company, so they can see how you've done that job successfully and how you've earned your keep. That is the answer that you're looking for. And we use something called the Experience, Learn, and Grow model to deliver that. And it's a tool we use where we talk objectively about what happened, we talk about what we learned, and we talk about how we apply it going forward, so this company knows, so this is how he or she's going to do it for me, right? Very important that we get proficient at this. Experience, Learn, and Grow model for behavioral questions is probably one of the most important things you can do. Info today, literally just before I started this, I posted an article over on Inc. magazine where I talked about how to answer the question about dealing with difficult coworkers. This is another behavioral question that comes up all the time. You answer this wrong, you're out. So be sure to check that Inc. article out as well, where we talk about that. Those are just 2 of 21 typical behavioral questions you'll get. And for those of you that don't know behavioral questions, we have an entire YouTube video on this. So please watch it. So important. All recruiters and hiring managers are using this technique to get inside your head. What they're trying to figure out is your personality and your mindset. They're trying to figure out, are you a positive person? Are you a negative person? Do you learn or do you like to blame? Right? Are you proactive? Are you helpless? And you may not think it, but the way you answer your questions completely reveals that. So understanding how to answer behavioral questions is probably one of the most important things you can do in interview prep. And it's what we spend the most amount of time on in the course as well. Now, there's probably a really perfect time to do a sponsored message, which is, folks, if you don't know what Work It Daily is, we're a subscription-based coaching service. You get access to 15 cutting-edge career courses, including our job search toolkit, which has the interview prep in it, 200 plus hours of video tutorials that you can use, templates, tools. But you also get put into a private community where our certified coaches, myself and the team, answer your questions one-on-one privately, as well as in community groups with other members. It's inspiring, it's focused, you remove the roadblocks, and you get it for less than a few cups of coffee a month. Our goal, we founded Work It Daily to absolutely disrupt and destroy the career coaching industry. I was in career coaching for many years. My challenge with it was how expensive it was, how only people with a lot of money could afford it, and how limited it was. You set an appointment, you worked with a coach for an hour, then you were all alone again. In this model, you're never alone. We're in your back pocket 24/7. And this is how people are cutting their job search down in half or sometimes more. They're working through major problems in their career. This is what we do. We turn career coaching on its ear, literally for a couple cups of coffee a month. That is unheard of. And we have a lot of people out there pretty scared right now because we believe we're disrupting and making this industry better. So, if you're trying to achieve career goals and they haven't happened yet, step 1, follow this YouTube channel. We want to help you. Step 2, when you're ready, come join us. Get it done. Work It Daily, get it done. That's what we're about. And you're not going to find this anyplace else. And I know for a fact that my partner in crime, Lindsay, is giving you a discount code that's good today. So if you check out the discount code in the chat, it'll save you 30% on our monthly fee. So cheap. It's ridiculous. It's stupid cheap. And it won't stay that way forever as we grow, but this is our introductory rate. We're new to the scene with this. We've only been around for a year with this. So now's your chance to get in. why it's super inexpensive. Okay, enough of that announcement. Let's work on this and answer more questions. Shout out to Tim, one of our members. Hey, Tim, good to see you here. Randall says, I have applied for a position. Then the recruiter views my LinkedIn profile, which was the same on my resume. No response to my application. Any thoughts? Why? So, Randall, part of the problem is that you applied online. They take a quick skim and they go, okay, let's see what else comes in. So they spend a week or two seeing what other people apply to the job. And then they decide about 6 people that they want to phone screen. They phone screen 6 people. They pick the top 3 and they present them to the hiring manager. This is how most companies will operate. So they looked at you, but they didn't respond. My advice to you is to go around the system. What you have to do is find the name of the recruiter or the hiring manager, locate their email address, preferably get an introduction, see if somebody in your network knows somebody who knows somebody, and then get your disruptive cover letter, your cover letter that talks about how you feel connected to the organization in their hands. One of the most misunderstood things out there in job search right now is the cover letter. People are sending stuffy, boring, outdated cover letters that nobody reads. The people that are getting interviews are the people that are using the cover letter to help the viewer understand why they get them, why I get that your company is important, that the work it does is valuable and makes a difference. Your job is to help them understand I'm as passionate about what the company does for work as you are. I get you. I'm a member of your tribe. You're my people. And that's why I want to work for your company. Not you have the best benefits or I heard you're the most awesome place to work. They already know that. What they want to know is how you get them so that when you get in there, you'll be intrinsically motivated to crush the job because you so align with the company. That is the story that gets you the interview. And that story is often going to be just tossed out of the ATS system. So you got to go around and you got to get it in somebody's hands. And everyone thinks that's so difficult. That's not difficult. You just need to know how to do it. I'm not going to tell you that though, because that's what Work It Daily does. That's what we teach. So sorry, if you want to know how to do that, you got to join us. Okay. Hey, JT, could you explain to me, how do I explain to hiring managers how I add value to their company? Great question. So first of all, you have to look at yourself and say, when a company hires me for a job, what am I doing? What problem do I solve for them? What pain do I alleviate for them? And how does that tie to their bottom line? Now, you might not know this right off the bat, so sometimes you need to go back and talk to your managers, former managers about it. And you sit down and say, what is it about this job that saves the company money or makes the company money? And then you tie that back to your own work. Well, gee, if I did this, it saved the company 20%. Well, that's what I want to share in interviews. That's what I want to be able to convey to them, that I can do the work you're asking for. I've done it before. And here was the results they got. So I can do those results, if not better, now that I'm better at that job than even before. That's how you do that. So it takes a little work. You got to spend, but folks, it's no different than when we decide we're going to buy something that is going to save us money or make our life better. Don't we want demonstrated value? We don't just buy something because they say it's a great product. We want facts. We want numbers. We want testimonials. We want proof. Well, the same thing goes for hiring managers. The examples you give them where you can really back it up with fact, that's the proof. That's how you make that get conveyed. So it's a really important part of the process, learning how to do that. Again, part of the interview prep experience that you need to learn. All right. Oh, thank you, Sean. We're so glad that you like everything that you're seeing here. Dario. Hey, Dario. I would like to get to know how to handle the situation when I get interviewed with 2 people at the same time in the same room. Yeah, group interviews, they're more and more common these days. And companies do it because they don't want to waste your time and theirs. So instead of making you come back for multiple interviews or saying, we need you here for 4 hours because you're going to meet with 4 different people, they say, let's put us all in a room together and have a conversation. I know that can feel more stressful, but it actually works to your advantage because they're in the room and they hear the same thing and it's consistent messaging. What you have to understand is that anybody that sits in that room, whether it's 2 people, 4 or 10, if they're in that room, it's because they have a vested interest in you getting hired, meaning somehow the job that you're being interviewed for impacts them. Your job is to understand how that impacts each person because it's going to be different. So you want to ask questions about how does this job that I'd be doing affect your work? And what can this person do to make your life easier or your job better or go more smoothly? Who's worked with you in the past really successfully in this? What hasn't worked in the past? So you really want to ask those questions and understand, what am I going to have to do to make that person happy, that person happy, that person happy? That is your goal in those group interviews. And they'll give you that opportunity. They're going to share information. It's your job to really listen and ask questions to help them understand, wow, this person gets it. They understand that they're being interviewed today because they need to deliver value to each of us, probably in a slightly different way. When you can do that, that's when you're going to be able to move on in the process. Okay. Does everyone understand that? Group interviews, more and more common. We have a whole video tutorial on that in our interview prep, because you really do have to meet the needs of each person in there. All right. Hey, Natasha. Natasha says, what do you do about gaps in your resume when the person does nothing during that period of time but stay home? Yeah, it happens all the time. We deal with a lot of people inside Work It Daily. They have been raising children, they've been home, or even more popular these days, caring for sick loved ones or elderly loved ones. A lot of people taking sabbaticals to be with people they love, which I think is awesome. And, we need to do it. A lot of times we need to do it. The question is, how do you explain that? Well, first of all, if it's been a really lengthy gap, so if it's been more than a year and you have been doing that kind of specific thing, you can put a line item in there, and there's a way to do that where you explain it. But most of the time, what you want to do is just make sure whatever you explain, you let them know it's over, meaning I don't need to worry about this. The most important thing is to explain closure. And so that can go on the resume. That being said, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in that situation, this whole idea of going around the ATS becomes 10 times more important to you. Anybody that's been out of work a long period of time, taken a sabbatical, been fired, traditional ATS already doesn't work, it's totally not going to work for you. They're going to take one look and screen you out. The whole point is to screen you out. They haven't met you. They don't know your personality. They don't know your aptitude. They don't know your passion for the company. They don't know anything about you. Looking at a piece of paper with some facts and they're going, oh, there's something missing here. No, that is why the system is so broken, because they put so many people in the no pile that shouldn't be there. And you're one of them. What it means is you have to learn to go around the process. And I cannot say that enough. It is about connecting with the companies that inspire you, that you feel connected to in the right way, sharing the right stories with them, building relationships with them so that when they think about you for the job, they go, okay, so maybe this person had work, but their personality, their aptitude, the connection we've had, they could do this job. They absolutely could do this job. That's what you're shooting for. That's what you have to work towards. And you can do it. I'm telling you right now, you can do it. All right, let's see. Kelly says, so are you saying not to apply on ATS systems at all? What if I can't find a contact at a company? I am saying, if at all possible, try to contact somebody at the company before you apply. You can apply on ATS, just understand the likelihood of you getting called is next to nothing. And that you really have to go, okay, the biggest thing I've identified here is this is a company that hires my type of skill set. Now my job is to build a networking protocol and build relationships with people there, because I'm probably not going to get this job, but they'll hire for others. And I want to be more prepared next time to be referred in. I mean, this is no joke, folks. 80% of all jobs are gotten via some type of referral. And that is usually based on weak ties, which means I know somebody who knows somebody at that company. I reach out to my friend and say, hey, can you give me that name? Can I put those two people in touch? And the reason that works so well is nobody's making some sort of glowing recommendation on your behalf. They're just saying, hey, somebody knows somebody. And it just gets you in front of them. It's still up to you to impress them with your cover letter and your story and whatnot. You're still going to have to earn the job all by yourself. People get so hung up on this. I don't want to put people out. You don't want to put people on the spot. You're not. You still have to get the job. But you're not even getting a shot at it if you don't put yourself in the path of the employer. And I say that all the time inside Work It Daily. Put yourself in the path of the employer. That is your mission. You're not even getting a shot until you do that. That is job search today. Applying online, not job search. That's a very easy thing to do, and the results are next to nothing because it's that easy. Doing the work of putting yourself in the path of the employer, that's what gets you hired. And it's not as hard as people think, and it actually can be a lot more rewarding and fun. Back me up, my folks here that are members, they use our disruptive cover letters, and every day somebody's like, I just got a call from my bucket list company. A bucket list company is a list of companies we teach people to make that they want to work for. They go, I just got it, and they told me it was the best cover letter they ever read. Yes, because you wrote a cover letter from the heart that explained how you connected with them, and that's exactly what they wanted to read. Of course they loved it. Of course they want to talk to you. This is how marketing works, folks. We are businesses of one marketing our services. When we take the best marketing techniques out there and we apply them to employers, we get hired. When people just send you spammy stuff, like putting your stuff in an ATS, right? That's the equivalent of sending spammy stuff. You toss it. It's a piece of wasted mail. That's what ATS is to you. You got to be much smarter, much more strategic in your marketing strategy for your business of one. All right. Again, I see the code up there. Save $10 a month, folks. $10 a month, making it super duper cheap for you to join us and get help from me and the rest of the team. Check it out. All right. Question. How can I overcome lack of local experience? A company already rejected me, giving his reason my experience and qualifications was 100% relevant to that position. Okay. So this person said, no, not today for these reasons. But there are other people that work at that company. There are other people that you can start to network with. Your job is to get to know this person. This person said, no, not today. This is one of those examples I love to talk about. They didn't say no, not ever. You got your first rejection. Oh, well, you're going to give up now? No, you're not. You're not going to give up yet. What you're not going to do is try to tell this person, yes, you should hire me today. They said no, they're not ready. But that doesn't mean you can't build a relationship with this organization and this company and say, okay, I get it. I'm not a fit now. I'd still like to stay in touch. What would you like to see from me experience-wise? Excellent. I really was impressed with you. Can we just have a cup of coffee or an informational interview? I'd like to learn more about how you got in your role and maybe get some ideas of what else I can do down the line to be a better fit for you. Put the effort in. If you want the job, which is going to pay you thousands of dollars, you got to do more than just have your first rejection and give up. Salespeople that quit after the first rejection, they don't stay in sales very long. It's 7 to 11 rejections usually before the person finally closes a deal. That's in the sales world. It can be even higher depending on what you're selling. So, like it or not, you're selling, you're marketing yourself. If we're going to give up on the first rejection, folks, we're never going to get hired. You got to build relationships. You got to stay in there. You got to show them that, okay, I'll stick with you. I'll get to know you. I'll do what it takes to earn that position. All right. Excellent. Good luck with that. Question, hey Dominic, do you have any advice for the use of social media to build your brand and how to separate personal from professional content? Awesome question. So Dominic, when you are building your brand, I think it's really important that you think strategically. So people always say personal and professional. Why are they different? Why do you feel they have to be different? You are a brand, a whole brand, and there are things that you love to do in your spare time that define who you are. And there are things that you do work-wise that define who you are. And together, that comes together. Now, there are certain platforms that you do certain things on. So on LinkedIn, for example, you're not going to put your hobbies and interests. You're going to put the stuff that's related to work. So what do you care about? What problem do you love to solve? What pain do you love to alleviate for employers and why? And how do you do that? That's the kind of stuff that's going in that feed. Whereas your Instagram and your Facebook might be more about your personal pursuits. And I was talking to somebody about this recently who actually hates social media and hates branding. She is just about to finish up becoming a nurse practitioner, and she wants to open up her own practice. And she said, but I hate social media. I never know what to put on there. I said, well, that's easy. I said, from a personal standpoint, what do you care about? What things really matter to you? And she said, well, I really care about, healthcare for teenagers and what we can be doing. She has teenagers, like what we can be doing better to help educate parents and people on healthcare for them and the special unique needs they have. I said, awesome. So you don't have to post every day, but couldn't you share really interesting things that you think are valuable on your Facebook feed or your Instagram that relate to that, even once a week? Couldn't you share things, the things that you care about that make a difference in the world? Couldn't you just kind of share those things? All you're doing is providing value. You're not voicing your opinion. You're saying, hey, these things, I think they really work and they matter to me and I think people should know about them and I want other people to know about them. With social media, serve your followers. So on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and whatever platforms you choose, think about your follower base and then serve them. Serve them up the stuff that matters. Build your brand because that's what they're going to remember. Okay. I'll give you a personal example because I was due. In Facebook, I always post videos of people that are really, really old, exercising, specifically dancing. I love anytime I see a really good video. There's one a couple of weeks ago, a woman's like 105 and she's crumping. I've seen just all sorts of videos about dancing. I'm a huge dance fan. Taught it, love it, live it my whole life. I want to live to 105. So this is the stuff I put in my feed. And my friends now know me as the person that loves dance. Is that a bad thing? No, it brands me. It brands who I am and what I'm about. I also put some career stuff in there. So they know I'm a career coach. It brands me. So just pick and choose what you want to brand yourself on out there in social media, folks, and then be consistent. Drip some stuff out there. That's what you do. That's really the key. Social media is evolving. That's the other thing we all need to know, right? We're really starting to look at this stuff. We've had it long enough now. Our training wheels are off. We're starting to figure out the good, bad, and ugly related to social media. And we're all becoming more intentional about what we use it for and its value. And that's where this branding thing is going to become hugely popular and important, because that's really what social media is going to become. It's going to become a branding tool. So I love that you asked this question, Dominic. And we could talk about this for hours, but hopefully I gave you some sense of where you should be going with this. Okay. And we are talking about doing maybe a course on this later on. So if you guys are interested, when we get to that point, it would be a private course where we could really help people develop their brands on social media. We'll keep you posted. Don't know when that might come out, but we've had a lot of interest in that. All right. Anne says, just found out our company will be out of business in 6 months. Oh my gosh. I work for a university on the admin side, but want to transfer over to the academic side. It seems like the strategy is different. Help. It is different. Okay. So, and anybody else that's making a career change, here's what you need to know. You got to signal. Imagine being on the German Autobahn going 200 miles an hour. Would you just switch lanes when it was filled with cars? No, because you would create a massive pileup. That would be bad. You can't just switch lanes. It's not going to be that easy. Anne knows it. That's why she's saying help. And the solution is to signal. So Anne, what you've got to do right now with a 6-month runway here, you've got 6 months, is to build up the brand and the case study as to why you're making this switch. So people aren't just going to understand. So I see this all the time. Oh, I want to go from marketing to underwater basket weaving. So I'm just going to start applying to underwater basket weaving jobs. Why isn't anybody picking me? Because my whole background is marketing. That's why. So what you have to do is connect the dots for them. Again, this is a case where ATS doesn't work because they're going to see that you're an admin and go, well, that's not academic. We can't hire her. You are going to have to build your strategy, build your network, build your tools, build your story, and then get out there and tell the story, network, and connect so people that understand, oh, I totally get why Anne wants to make this change. Good for her. We're behind her. Let's introduce her to some people. Nobody's going to help you if you don't have your story formulated and you don't have the materials to back it up. That is the truth, folks. When it comes to career change, when it comes to remote job search, when it comes to anything that you're trying to make happen in your career, it's on you to have that story and the materials ready and the strategy for connecting and sharing that story ready. So, Anne, that is my biggest piece of advice to you. I always tell this story to drive the point home. How many of us have watched a new business go up in our little town? And we never saw anything about the company. We see a sign in the window and we kept thinking, oh, maybe one day I'll stop in there, but I didn't. And I didn't see anything in the newspaper. I didn't hear anybody talking about it. Nothing special. And all of a sudden it feels like a blink of an eye, but the business goes out of business. And you go, well, they didn't do any marketing. I didn't see them anywhere. I didn't know anything about them. Oh, well, that's on them. Same thing for us. When you can't find work, you got to be really honest and ask yourself, what have I done to put myself in the path of the employer? What have I done to market to them, to reach out, to connect, to have them have an experience with me that shapes their perception of me, that gets them to remember me? That is what we need to know how to do. And you can do this. I see people switch all the time. This is a blessing for you. You've got a 6-month runway, my friend, to figure this out and make it happen. You absolutely can do that, okay? So see this as an opportunity. They put a time frame on this for you. You're going to get in gear. You're going to build this plan. You're going to signal, and you're going to change lanes, okay? All right, awesome. Woo! All right, I'm going to give it just a few more minutes here, folks. I'm only supposed to be on for 30 minutes, but you guys asked such great questions. I hate to get off the line. Let's see. What are your thoughts on thank you letters? Should you be selling yourself in it, or is it more about relationship building? Oh my gosh, I have huge thoughts on this. You had a chance to sell yourself in the interview. There is nothing more nails on the chalkboard to recruiters than when somebody sends a thank you note where they start pitching themselves and saying, just to remind you that I've got this experience and this is why I think I'm great for the job. It feels wrong. And you wouldn't have been asking this question if it didn't feel wrong to you too, right? So pat yourself on the back. You followed your gut. You know that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to simply say, thank you. Thank you. I love talking to you about this. Cite something specific that you had a conversation with about that person. I'm really excited for the next steps in the process. And if you really want to be wonderful, find an article link that speaks to something you talked about and put in PS, I saw this article or this video, maybe think of our conversation. Maybe you'll find it as insightful as I did, which shows you as a team player. Like, hey, we had this conversation. Here's a way to continue the conversation. Here's a cool article. Here's a cool video on it. That's a proper thank you note. And if you met with 5 people, you do it 5 times and each one's different. And the reason for that is that they're going to forward it to one another and say, look, she sent me this, he sent me this. And if they see the same canned thing, right? This is one of those things you take the extra time on. Short, sweet, appreciative, highlight what you love talking about, add a link of value if you can. Can't wait for the next steps in the process. Okay? Great question. Okay. So Ken, hey Ken, I landed a job and was let go 2 months later. My position was eliminated, but not fired. Do you put this position on resume? So that's a great question. If they do a background check, your W-2s are going to come up and they're going to see that you worked at this company. So my advice is, especially if it's a relevant position and that you know that they would give you a good recommendation if somebody called, then the answer would be yes. And you could simply say, position eliminated or restructuring, layoff, something like that. I like to put the job title and that kind of in parentheses right after the job title, just so the recruiter goes, oh, okay, it was a layoff or a restructuring, and then list your accomplishments. And then they're going to ask you about it. And you're going to go, yeah, please call my manager. They'll tell you, just the way it went, that sort of thing. If it's more dicey than that, then we need to have a deeper conversation. You have to talk with a career coach and figure out, does it make sense for you to have it on there or not, depending on what went down. Everybody's, situation is different. But based on what you told me, that would be my advice, would be to list it and put restructuring in parentheses after the job title. Okay. All right. I'm going to take my last question. Sorry, gang, because I really need to stop here. Let's see. Last questions from Bonnie. How do you think of your brand, Work It Daily? It's so creative and fun, and I love your vision. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll take one more question besides that because I have to answer this. Then I'll take one. So here's the truth, folks. I became a career coach in 2002 officially. I was in HR and recruiting for many years, and if any of you have ever seen the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney, not only do he and I share a birth date, but I had that job. I have probably laid off and let go hundreds of people in my lifetime. I was a restructuring specialist of organizations. And I got really good at career coaching people because I hated seeing people get let go, but I also knew they were onto a better chapter in their lives. So in 2001, I decided to leave the corporate world and become a career coach. And in that time between 2001 and 2008, I wrote a book. And the book is called Careerism, The Smart Approach to a Satisfying Career. And in it is something that I built called the GLOW method. Gain perspective, illuminate the goal, own your actions, work it daily. That is the secret to all career success. I have coached thousands of people. And when I tell you, when you glow, gain perspective, get clear on what you want, illuminate the goal, focus in, own your actions, right? No excuses, get it done, and work it daily. So when the time came to rebrand, we realized that the solution is work it daily, is that fourth step, which is obviously the hardest part. It's the one that most people give up on. And our job here is to prove to you that it doesn't take hours a day. It's 10 minutes a day. It's 10 minutes a day. It's good habits. It's investing in your career and your professional self and always learning and always growing. And that is why we started this company, our little company. And I'm really excited that we're growing and we're building this following and we have all of you. And our mission, just so you all know, is to literally change the world. We believe that Work It Daily is social media for good. We want you to come inside, be a part of our community, work on your career, feel amazing about yourself, get empowered, land your dream job, get your next promotion, anything else you want to achieve, and feel really amazing because career defines us. It's where we spend 1/3 of our lives. So to not invest in ourselves and have a coach and have a community of people that are behind us, that's what holds us back from success and working it daily. So that is who we are. That's what we're about. We plan to world domination. We want to make sense. We want millions and millions of people to get on this bandwagon. And what we really believe is when we do that, when we empower millions of people to take control of their careers, get their dream job, negotiate, be partners with employers, get the money they want, the whole world, the dynamic's going to change. Because I hate seeing people frustrated with employers and employers frustrated with job seekers. I want us to come together and do great work together. But that starts by empowering you and getting you to the next level. Right? That's what you do. So that's what we're about. That's why we're here. That's where the name came from. Thank you for asking that question. I really appreciate it. Let's see. So one more question. I promise. Let's see. Phil says, how to combat being interviewed by someone half my age. Okay. Phil, did you miss my opener? If you did, you'll want to go back and look at the replay because we have been talking about age discrimination a lot. So I am loving that we're ending on this. Okay. So one quick question before I do that. My brain's going in a million directions because Phil asked this question. But folks, if you didn't get your question answered today, there's a really easy solution. Use the discount code, log in today, work with us. Any question that you have can be answered by myself and the team of coaches. It's that easy. You don't have to wait every week and hopefully get picked on the show. You can have it now. So please check out Work It Daily because it really is a game changer. Okay, back to Phil. So Phil, the moment that you said half my age, do you or do you not have a filter on when you're going that? Did you or did you not discriminate against that hiring manager right out of the gate because of the age thing? Be honest. Everyone be honest. Not a bad or good thing. We're not here to persecute Phil. He's the brave one that asked this question, but you are proving my point. I'm being interviewed by someone half my age. That is discrimination. It is. You are discriminating against the person because they are half your age. You are making assumptions. I've had people say this to me all the time. They were my kids' age. Okay, so you don't respect your kids enough. You couldn't partner and work with your kids, so you can't work with this person. You've got an issue about it. See what I mean? Inside the Work It Daily program, I actually did an entire video on how to interview over 40. And what happens is when we start out early in our career, think about it, we have no experience, so we use enthusiasm. You know, we lack for experience. We're going to do an enthusiasm. You're going to get us. And all of a sudden we start to peak in our career. We start to have all this experience, right? And then we're going down the other side of the bell curve. And suddenly we're being interviewed by people who are half our age. And we're saying, but look at me. I'm the full package. I have all the experience. I have all the knowledge. I've been around the block. I've walked uphill in the snow both ways. You know, you need to listen to me. And they go in and they interview in this way, like, look at me. Do you understand me? I'm so knowledgeable. I have everything you need. And what they're doing is really turning off that person who isn't as seasoned as you, but is feeling like, wow, aren't you telling me, you know, how close-minded you're going to be and how much you're going to talk over me and how much you don't respect me. Does everyone see that? You don't mean to do it, but you're so focused on the fact that they're half your age. That's the problem. This is a person, and like it or not, they got this job and they're in this job, and you don't know enough about them yet to know if they're a good or bad manager. But you know what you do know? You like the company, you're interested in the work, and they're interested to do good work. You share something. So you sit down with that person and you answer their questions and you ask great questions and you listen. And you say, I don't have all the answers. If anything I've learned in 20, 30, 40 years of work is there's still much more to learn, and times have changed and situations have changed. And that's why I want to be in an environment like this. What are you looking for in a candidate? What do you need as the manager? What works best for you? You know, what thrives here? And listen. Right? And if you can share examples from your past, which we teach people to do to validate that, awesome. But it's this going in with this immediate mindset of, oh, here we go. The person's half my age. Right then you set the wrong mindset for yourself. Right? And we're all guilty of doing it. We're all guilty of going, oh my gosh, those kids. Hey, I got my AARP card last month, folks. It came in the mail. I should pull it out for you. Being 50, they ship you that card right away. But I'm never going to go into that situation and say, they're half my age. I have nothing to learn from them. This is insulting. This is, frustrating. I'm intimidated. They're a person in that role. They've got strengths. I've got strengths. Can we talk and figure out how we could partner these strengths up together? And I'll tell you something. There are a lot of really talented people over the age of 50 landing jobs in young environments. And you know why? I mean, look at Sheryl Sandberg, for example. Mark hired her. He knew. He had the right person for the job. We got to start partnering with the younger half, because they don't even have the ability to say it's age discrimination, right? They don't even know. We are more evolved. And that is I'm going to close with that today. I started with it. If you're a seasoned professional, you're more evolved. You can outsmart the monkey. You can get rid of your own perceptions, your own discrimination about the person in front of you. Every time you go in, it's a clean slate. This is just a person. This is a hiring manager. My job is to hear their pain points, their problems, and think about how I could deliver value on their terms, on what they need. And remind myself that I don't have all the answers. Just because I have all this experience doesn't mean that I'm better than. I need to understand what they need today. And I need to prove to them that I could do that. Right? So, Phil, thank you so much for asking that question, because a lot of people wouldn't, and you did, and you're awesome for it. And I know that you will get to the answer of that. I really, really hope that you also come join us inside Work It Daily, because we talk about that stuff all the time. All right. Thank you, everyone. You've been amazing. Hey, are you loving this? Yes or no? Be honest with me. Questions, comments, feedback, future things you want to see us talk about on our live office hours. We will not be here for 4th of July, just so you know. We celebrate the holiday here, but we'll be back the week after that. And of course, you'll get a notification. If you hit the notification bell, you'll know. Mark your calendar. And one last pitch. I want to see you. Come join the family. If you're proactive, you're smart, if you know you're worth more, if you know that you want to achieve your goals, why aren't you in Work It Daily? Come join me.